Hello to all the simulation operations and technology section members out there. Thank you for your time this week during Healthcare Simulation Week 2021. We hope you've seen some great content out there, both from our section, but also from the Society for Simulation in Healthcare. We want to wrap the week up with some of the results of a recent survey that we passed around. So we'll show you that in a second. For those that may not know me, my name is Jarrod Young, and I am here today in the capacity as the co-chair for the SOTS Education Work Group. So the aforementioned Healthcare Simulation Week survey was passed around a few weeks ago, so hopefully you all were able to provide your feedback on that. But when we think about the purpose of this survey, what were we looking for, right? The time to celebrate. So we want to celebrate the good work that our section has done, whether it's your individual work, your work as a team at your site, or our work as a section. It's really time for us to sit back and congratulate each other for what we've done. It's also a time to reflect. We often move forward and think forward so much about what's the next day, what's the next event we have to work on, that we don't reflect on the good work and where we've come through this entire year. And throughout this pandemic, if it's taught us anything, it's that we should reflect back on the great work that we've done, especially during these trying times. Another purpose is a time to plan. As we look forward to the future and where this section can head, where we can all head individually, professionally, how can we plan to move forward with that? So the audience for this survey, it consisted of both members and non-members of the SOTS section. So we wanted to get that full 360 view to encompass all the feedback on the survey. So if we look at just the members of SOTS that put in what their role for healthcare simulation was, you can see a nice spread here of where they felt that their talents lied. So obviously the highest there, operations specialists, but we also have people who feel that they work within administrative roles, educator roles, researchers, innovators, and of course the other that probably well defines most of us here within this section. But one of the first questions that we asked of the survey was, if you had to use one word to describe the impact of a simulation operations specialist or technologist, what would that be? So obviously experience comes to the forefront. Creativity, practice. These are the things that I think we would often think about in this role, but the overwhelming majority of responses that had multiple responses was safety. And so I think that's a big one to key in on, and an impactful one here, because so many times we sit behind the curtain and we think about just working with technology, and we maybe minimize our impact on simulation and on the field of healthcare simulation. But especially to those outside of our section, if they had to use one word to describe us, it would be safety. So we can be there to help provide that safe container, to help learners feel empowered to be able to step into the simulation in a comfortable way, to feel safe when they're in the environment working with our mannequins or with our standardized patients or our task trainers. So I think that word there, and thinking about how we impact patient safety, is a great sign, and something that I hope you all take forward and really think about. So one of the next questions that we asked on there is, what is the meaningful impact of a simulation operations specialist? And this was, I think, especially key to those that were outside of our section. How can we provide impact, and what impact do we provide to simulation as a whole? And so one of the main themes and trends I saw was that we kind of served as a bridge. So think about this bridge here, and I like this one because it's a little uphill. It's a little maybe tough to cross there and figure out how to get from side to side. So yeah, with our two sides being education and then the technology portion of simulation. How can we bridge those two gaps? How can we use the growing technology and the mannequins and all that goes with simulations to really drive home that foundational educational aspect of simulation? And that's where we come in. So we can do it through collaboration. So working together across departments, working with those in education, working with those that are in the colleges and the departments that we serve, to really collaborate, to speak up, to show our expertise and our skills, our knowledge, our practice, to really be able to push that to the forefront. How do we collaborate? We can do that through communication. So it's effective communications. It's stepping outside of that box, maybe that comfort zone for some of us, and really making sure that we are that bridge between that foundational education as well as the technology that we all represent on a day-to-day basis. So team accomplishments for the year. This question was asked of the SOTS team members, and a lot of the overwhelming themes that we saw was collaborate. So with collaboration, it was accreditation support, supporting, some of the examples were supporting their team site through accreditation. Being able to adapt. I think everybody probably had to adapt in one way or another over this last year. So looking at virtual and hybrid simulations, the planning and the support that goes into preparing for this different way of life that many of us have had over the last year. Overcome. A lot of examples were given of how simulation operations specialists really stepped up and stepped in to help prepare educational courses, labs, SIM opportunities for learners, staff, faculty that were needing to prepare for tackling this pandemic. So a lot of great comments and notes were made about how the work that we did and jumping in and helping out really helped ease the fear of our providers with COVID during this pandemic. And then adjust, being able to work with shorter, uncertain timeframes, whether we're in person, whether it's virtual, being able to move through just-in-time trainings for our staff, really being able to just pick up and make things work at a moment's notice. These were some of the noted accomplishments that people put in the survey throughout the year. When we looked at accomplishments, we also wanted to really highlight what were your individual personal accomplishments for the year. So we had a wide range of them, but some of the different examples were presentations. So people noted that they were accepted to IMSH for the first time, SimOps, all these different conferences that have happened throughout the last year. People were proud to be able to step up and step out and present what they've done. Awards. There was notable awards, whether it be through different societies or through their university. People were able to be recognized and awarded for the great work that they've done. Accreditations. So like we mentioned before, a lot of people were proud of their role, their effort in the accreditation of their site through SSH or through another body there. So that is another great accomplishment to be proud of. Degrees. Always, anytime that you put in the work, especially during the crazy that this last year has given us, to those that have gotten your degree, we applaud you and you should be proud of yourself. The implementation of new technology. So many people felt that their achievement was bringing in new mannequins, new tech for their site, being able to upgrade and work through maybe some of the downtime that they've had to be prepared for hopefully seeing us through the other side of this pandemic. Creation of new trainers. For all those that are always working to develop new trainers, to create a new style of moulage, really being able to capture that creativity that we mentioned earlier as one of the words that describes us. That's something to really be proud of. Mental health checks. So there was a few people that noted throughout this that, given this last year, they've really been able to take time to step back and really, take account of what's important. Taking care of their family, making sure that everything is okay at home, so that they can show up at work and be the best specialist tech, the best team member that they can be. I don't think that gets enough appreciation and credit throughout this year. And then growing the field. Hopefully you all have been able to take ownership of all these different professional development opportunities that we've had throughout the year, and continue to grow the field and grow yourself. So at this time, celebrate, be proud of what you've done, but continue to prepare and push forward. Don't rest on your laurels at this time. Think about how you can push yourself out of that comfort zone. How can you challenge yourself? How can you help be a part of the future of this section? How can you be a part of the future of this society? Ask yourself this: how will you push yourself to grow professionally over the next year? Is it your degree you've been putting off? Is it certification? What is it? Is it volunteer work? What can you do to challenge yourself over this next year? Thank you all for your time, and we hope you've had a great healthcare simulation week.